From The Australian, here's what's on the front. I'm Claire Harvey. It's Tuesday, April 1, 2025. The fight over energy prices is heating up, with allegations the government is telling businesses the wholesale electricity price will come down, while refusing to make the same promise to householders. It comes as the federal election campaign enters a fiery first week, with a suspected Chinese spy ship in Bass Strait allegedly examining undersea cables. The Australian's reporting today that ship is being monitored by the Australian Border Force, not the military, as claimed by the Prime Minister, who says he would prefer the ship was not in Australian waters. Those stories and all the election scoops and drama are live now at theaustralian.com.au. Christopher Michael Dawson is appealing his conviction for the unlawful carnal knowledge of a schoolgirl. His lawyers say the trial judge made errors and the verdict of guilty was unreasonable. It all turns on when Dawson had his first kiss with the girl, when he was in his early 30s and she was a teenager. Today, why Dawson says he's not guilty. Before we begin, this episode contains details of alleged sexual offending. When did a schoolgirl share her first kiss with the man she would later marry? It's an evocative moment. He's teaching her to drive, seizing the opportunity to be alone with this beautiful young woman. She's desperate to gain her licence as a measure of freedom from the turbulence of her home life. They will go on to have sex, marry and welcome a daughter. But this is no ordinary teenage love story. He is Christopher Dawson, a married teacher in his 30s, a father of 2 small girls. He will pursue his obsession with this schoolgirl so far as to kill his wife, Lynette Sims. He'll be convicted of murdering Lynn and of having unlawful carnal knowledge of the schoolgirl by having sex with her when she was 16 and a pupil in his sports coaching class. But he will never admit guilt and is appealing all his convictions. And that's why, in the New South Wales Court of Criminal Appeal, we spent Monday back in 1980, driving around Sydney's northern beaches with Dawson and this girl, who can only be identified as AB. The timing of that first kiss, did it happen in 1980 or 1981, is the core of Dawson's appeal against his conviction for unlawful carnal knowledge. He's also fighting the murder conviction and is presently seeking special leave to appeal to the High Court of Australia. In late 1980, the girl was 16 years old enough to legally consent to sex, except if it involved one of her teachers. The law at the time held that the age of consent was 17 if it involved a pupil and her teacher. That means to be guilty of the charge, Dawson must have had sex with the girl when she was in his class, that is, before Year 11 formally finished on December 12, 1980, and before her 17th birthday. So, the crucial issue is, was she 16 or 17 when they first had sex and when they shared their first kiss? AB has described their first sexual intercourse at his parents' home in the southeastern Sydney suburb of Maroubra and says it was before her 17th birthday. Part of the evidence in the carnal knowledge trial were cards Dawson gave AB for Christmas 1980 and her 17th birthday early in 1981. Here's Judge Sarah Huggett finding Dawson guilty back in June 2023 and listing the factors which convinced her they did have sex before December 12, 1980, when the school term ended.
The fact the accused addressed a Christmas card to Petal and signed the card, "Love Always God," which I find to be powerful evidence that supports and is consistent with the timeline of the events described by the complainant and completely inconsistent with a developing relationship in which the accused was becoming romantic towards the complainant after the end of the 1980 school year.
It was all part of the evidence Judge Huggett used to find Dawson had had sex with AB before her 17th birthday, which was in early 1981.
The fact the accused addressed a 17th birthday card to, quote, the most beautiful girl in the world, and wrote a message that included, quote, knowing we will share all the birthdays to follow, all my love forever, XXX, which I find to be powerful evidence revealing that on or around the complainant's 17th birthday, the accused, a mature man as opposed to an immature teenager, was confident in the existence of a reciprocal and permanent relationship, and that was because the sexual relationship had commenced between 1 July 1980 and 12 December 1980.
You might remember the day of this verdict in June 2023 because Chris Dawson, over the video link from prison, made quite a remarkable outburst. That was after the judge left the courtroom. She returned in September 2023 to imprison him.
Christopher Dawson, for the offence of carnal knowledge of a girl above the age of 10 years and under the age of 17 years, and who was your pupil, I sentence you to imprisonment for 3 years, commencing on 30 August 2039 and expiring on 29 August 2042, with a non-parole period of 2 years, expiring on 29 August 2041, on which date you are eligible for parole.
Dawson was already serving 24 years for the murder of Lynn.
Implicit in the offence is that the offending involved an abuse of the position of trust and authority held by a teacher in relation to a pupil. At the time of the offence, the offender was aged 32, brackets, or very close to 32, and was a mature, educated and intelligent man. The victim was aged 16 and some months, placing her at the top end of the age range. The offender elected to engage in a sexual relationship with the victim when she was his student and he was her teacher, and in circumstances where I consider his moral culpability to be high.
For the appeal hearing on Monday, March 31, 2025, Dawson was visible on the audio-visual link. He was wearing the standard dark green prison-issue tracksuit, familiar in New South Wales jails. He was listed not by name, but as MRRC J Block CS12. That's Silverwater Jail in Sydney's Inner West, the rather grandly named Metropolitan Remand and Reception Centre, which is a maximum security prison for men. It's where prisoners go when they're first in custody or awaiting trial. After his court matters are over, Dawson will return to his regular cell at Clarence Correctional Centre's Aged and Frail Unit. Dawson is represented by legal aid in this appeal, and the barrister is one of the state's most expensive silks, Stephen Odgers SC. We've used a voice actor to bring you his words.
I'm not seeking to persuade Your Honours that there was doubt about the truthfulness of the complainant. The real issue is her reliability, particularly in relation to timing.
Odgers is saying AB isn't a liar. She's just got her dates mixed up. He took the appeal judges through AB's various statements about when the first kiss happened. Through multiple statements to police and in court, she said the first kiss happened during driving lessons. AB would have been eligible for a learner's permit in November 1980. But in 1998, she said she recalled Dawson picking her up from her mother's home in Heather Street, Collaroy Plateau, and there's evidence that the family didn't move to that unit until early 1981. In 2019, AB said she was confident they first had sex before she got her learner's permit. And then under cross-examination, she said she was uncertain about the exact date.
Even if the judge correctly finds that she's generally truthful, generally reliable, there still may be reasons for doubt.
Odgers also raised doubt about the timing of fitness classes Dawson took at Linfield Public School. It was after one of these classes that AB and other witnesses say she and Dawson were kissing and fondling in the pool. AB said in her evidence that the pool encounter, which she firmly believed happened in 1980, was part of the grooming process and that it occurred before she first had sex with Dawson. But other witnesses say they saw AB in the pool with Dawson in 1981 and Judge Sarah Huggett accepted this was accurate and that AB had been confused about the timing. Judge Huggett found AB was not deliberately lying, just mistaken. Odgers told the appeal court this meant there was reasonable doubt about the timing. If AB was wrong about the fitness classes, she could also be wrong about when she first had sex with Dawson.
It ceased to be a criminal offence soon after December 12th of 1980. He is clearly smitten by her, and they ultimately married. He clearly is romantically very attracted to her. The question is, did he go to the next step of committing this serious criminal offence? And is there a doubt about that based on timing?
Coming up, why the Crown says Dawson's conviction should stand. That's after the break. In this case, counsel for the Crown is the Deputy State Director of Public Prosecutions, Helen Roberts SC. She told the judges they should uphold Judge Sarah Huggett's verdict of guilt. Stephen Odgers for Dawson is arguing that the inconsistencies in AB's evidence add up to reasonable doubt, and that therefore Dawson shouldn't have been convicted. Helen Roberts told the judges, in fact, Judge Huggett accurately observed the inconsistencies, but still correctly found Dawson guilty. Here's a voice actor reading Helen Roberts' words.
The complainant gives evidence that the sexual relationship commenced when she was 16 years old and when she was in year 11. And the question is, can the Crown prove that, relying on her evidence, beyond reasonable doubt? It's a question of the reliability of the complainant on the key issues. The trial judge did not err in the way Her Honour approached it.
Helen Roberts observed that Stephen Odgers for Dawson had argued that the Christmas and birthday cards did not contain any overtly sexual content, and that therefore they shouldn't be seen as evidence of a sexual relationship. Roberts said, in fact, that's exactly what you'd expect from someone like Dawson.
The absence of direct reference to sexual content should not be something that makes that evidence less compelling. It would not be expected that he would, given the way in which he was relating to her, which was as a caring, helpful, loving, older, mature man, it would be unexpected if the cards were to have overt sexual content on them.
Roberts said the card was signed, "All My Love."
We submit that it is powerful support for confidence in an already formed sexual relationship. It's highly consistent with the complainant's account that he had said he wanted to marry her and that he wanted to be with her and he would look after her. On or around the complainant's 17th birthday, the accused, a mature man as opposed to an immature teenager, was confident in the existence of a reciprocal and permanent relationship. And that was because a sexual relationship had commenced.
The judges have retired to consider their decision. The Australians podcast, The Teacher's Pet, was instrumental in bringing to light the allegations that Chris Dawson was a murderer and a child sex offender. Allegations Dawson has always steadfastly denied. You can listen to The Teacher's Pet and its companion podcast, The Teacher's Trial and The Teacher's Accuser, wherever you're listening right now. And you can follow the course of Dawson's appeals at theaustralian.com.au.